I quit my job. That's right, I quit my job so I could be Alex Eats Too Much full-time content creator. This is something I've been thinking about doing for a long time, and this summer, after a number of events occurred, I decided it was finally time to take that leap. For those of you finding me for the first time, I'm Alex, and I've had my Pittsburgh food Instagram and blog, Alex Eats Too Much, since 2017. It has grown over the years beyond food to feature events and travel and so much more. So what happened? The TLDR is I grew to dislike my job, and there were things becoming busier with food events and travel. It was time to make an exciting and scary choice. So keep following along to see more of my Alex Eats Too Much adventures as a full-time content creator. First, it needs to be answered why I quit my job. Why would I leave a regular paycheck and health insurance? I was at my job for a long time too. I was with the same company for over 16 years. It was the reason I moved to Pittsburgh in the first place. It was a good job for many of those 16 years. However, the last year has been kind of rough. The amount of work I was doing increased, and there was not enough time or people to support it. I was being asked to support things outside of work hours more and more often. I started to feel like no matter what I was doing, I was still not making a positive impact because so many things were still always needing more work. There were also some other changes that happened over the course of the last year that I think I probably don't really want to get into that made me feel like the job was no longer right for me anymore. Overall, I was starting to feel defeated. I was regularly giving up. However, it wasn't just the job. I was using most of my PTO to do Alex Eats Too Much activities, things I was looking forward to doing. I was starting to notice I was distracted at work because I wanted to pursue the food and events and the travel content opportunities outside of my full-time job more and more often. I was also missing out on cool food and travel opportunities because of work. And then I realized I started to become depressed. I wasn't leaving my house. I wasn't seeing the people in my life. And it was difficult, obviously. I think the best advice I could give to somebody in that situation is that if there is something in your life causing you to become depressed, don't be afraid to talk about it with somebody, or don't be afraid to make that big change to get yourself out of that depressing funk and back on with your life again. I started to receive a lot of encouragement from people telling me it was time to move to full-time content creation. Multiple people already doing full-time content creation were telling me it was time for me to make this move. People in the food and service industry who left corporate jobs were all telling me how much happier they were when they left that corporate job. I was definitely starting to get jealous of all of them. So then, a little over a month ago, I was off from work to attend the Mid-Atlantic Tourism Public Relations Association Media Marketplace. And this is an event that allows destination marketing offices to connect with media professionals and figure out ways to promote those different destinations. The host destination also plans events and tours for us over those few days. This was all stuff I was really excited to be doing. I was going to get to network with people, and I was going to make plans for what I was going to do with Alex Eats Too Much. On the way to the event, I was listening to an audiobook, and there was an unrelated line in the book about thinking you are never ready to move on to that next thing. And sometimes you just need to overcome that feeling and make that change. I arrived at the event, and the whole purpose of the event is to make connections and find opportunities in the field. I was surrounded by people who shared this same interest in exploring and creating articles and videos of their trips and their journeys. I concluded that it was time for me to dive into creating content full-time and sharing my experiences. So I returned from that trip, and that Monday morning I submitted my resignation. Second, I want to talk about what I plan to do in the short term with Alex Eats Too Much. I need to start by setting myself a routine. I'm worried I'll see self-employment as an excuse to not work regular hours. But I can't let that happen. I need to make sure I set time daily to work on videos and edit photos and write blog posts. Part of being a full-time content creator is actually creating my content. Until now, I would fit in creating content and things after work hours, sometimes working until late into the evening. That time was getting to be more and more limited for me. I have this backlog of content that I need to work through and still post. I made trips in the last year to New Orleans and Las Vegas and to one of my favorite places, Happy Valley, and even more than that I need to finish these videos. I also have these blog posts that are almost done but not really done that I need to finish up by editing them and adding photos and actually posting them to my website. Another short-term goal for me is consistency. I've noticed over the last, let's say, 6 months or so, I haven't done a good job of again, posting my stuff. I need to make sure that I'm actually sharing my content after I shoot it and after it's done. It shouldn't take me weeks to make a video after eating somewhere or going somewhere and exploring it. I need to try to post at least one blog post a week, one long YouTube video a week, and a combination of a whole bunch of reels and photo carousels and all that sort of stuff at least once a week. I need to do this because I want to create passive income from my website and YouTube. And I'll go into that a little bit more later, but it'll get to a point where hopefully I don't have to rely on partnerships and all those things in order to make sure I'm earning money as a full-time content creator. But right now I'm not posting enough to even get to a point of that. But it's also, it seems ridiculous that I'm not actually sharing the things that I'm exploring. There's a lot of cool stuff that I've done or a lot of great meals I've eaten that I'm sure people want to know about that stuff. So it's time for me to post those things. One of the other things I really need to make sure I do is that if a day requires me to actually go out and explore something new, I have to actually go and do it. I've skipped a lot over the years because of having to be at work or being burnt out after work. If I'm going to be in a space where I have to attend things to film content, I need to make sure I actually go do it. This means I'll hopefully get to show off those really cool things in Pittsburgh and beyond, which, again, I'm really sure that it'll make you want to visit them too. My last short-term goal is to get my life back together. The last few months were so busy and not my happiness. The things that they say about depression and anxiety are true. I was tired and I couldn't sleep. I had no motivation to do things or clean my house. I wasn't seeing friends and family, and I was just losing the interest in spending time with people. I'm already noticing in this last few days, I'm sleeping again. I have plans to actually deep clean my house because it's been so long. I'm starting to get plans together with people and see people again and be present. It's all very exciting, but these are the things I gotta do right now to get myself back into a space. Third and finally, what is the long-term plan for Alex Eats Too Much? The most important goal is to experience new things. I'm constantly being told about new and classic restaurants and amazing food-related businesses and great destinations and travel activities. There's so much that can be shown off with food, and to be fair, eating has always been one of the things I'm best at. I want to start telling those stories about the food. I'm not just going to do 30-second videos anymore. YouTube and blog posts will really let me tell more of that story. Part of why I expanded into travel also is that I've barely traveled in my life. I've really only seen the East Coast of the United States except for a couple of trips to big cities or a handful of international trips that I've made. I want to see more things around the United States and around the world, but I also love experiencing the food in all these different places. On those trips I have gone on, I've gotten to really eat such great things everywhere, and I think other people would love seeing and learning about those foods, and hopefully maybe give people the want or the desire to then travel to those places and try those things too. But then there's also, how am I going to earn money from being a full-time content creator? I mentioned this a little earlier, but part of how I'm going to earn money is from passive income. And passive income is basically when I don't have to do anything, it's just kind of earns in the background. I want to be at a point of making sure that I can earn money off the big companies like Meta and Google from the videos I post or the blog posts that I'm creating. But in order to do this, I have to meet certain criteria on each of those platforms. This includes followers, subscribers, views, clicks, all of that stuff kind of goes into meeting that criteria. I'm going to be trying to build my YouTube channel much more over the next few months. So if you've watched this far and you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to please do so. Longer videos like these on YouTube are a great way for me to build towards earning money from YouTube and Google. But I'm also going to be posting more on my website finally. I need to rank higher in search and direct more traffic to my website so that way I can earn money off of ad revenue. And that can make a big difference. And then there's also affiliate links and things that you can click on that will hopefully allow me to earn more money as well. So there's a lot there. But then my last long-term goal, and probably the main one about how I'm going to earn money, is I'm going to be looking for more paid partnerships. Over the years, I've done a lot of Instagram videos for the exchange of a meal or for exposure. But the thing is, I can't do that anymore. I won't be able to pay the bills with free meals and exposure. And I was already starting to do this less because I really didn't want to keep doing the same videos as everybody else. There's a lot of people in Pittsburgh already doing food content creation. And I want to just be doing different things. I want to be showing these stories and creating other things. That said, if businesses want to partner with me on special content, I'm all about it. I think there's some really cool stuff we can do. But what I'm going to be doing is pitching more national brands and destinations to work with them instead. It'll give me a great opportunity to show these different things that may not necessarily be in Pittsburgh. But I also want to be able to do funnier videos. I want to be able to do the stuff like when I partnered with Nexium24 or every time I partner with Sheetz where they kind of let me do something that's really cool and funny and outside the box. But there's also just a lot of destinations I can go to show off the attractions, the restaurants, the agriculture, all the stuff that's there. One of the most rewarding parts of some of my trips has been hearing people went to the same places I did or trying the same meals either because of me or they previously went and had that same experience. That's so cool to hear. So that's it. I quit my job and I'll be doing Alex Eats Too Much content full time. Thank you so much for watching and following me so far. If you're not following me already on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, or YouTube, please do so to keep seeing what I'm doing and hit the like button on this YouTube video and subscribe to my channel to see more of the Alex Eats Too Much journey.